हृदि निरन्तरं भासते स्वयं लिख्यते कथम्। हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् अहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण हृदि विषमनसा चिन्वता मज्जता अनुचलनिरोधा आत्मरोधम्। देहं मृण्मय जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तत भावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भाव ओहं भायुत कुतो वरधिय दृष्टात्मनिष्टात्मनो सोहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। सोहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। Namo Ramana. In this Thursday Satsang from Ramanacentre Center for Learning, it has been our practice to select two verses from Guru Vachika Kovai, the work by Muruganar Swamigal. Each verse is selected by Revatima randomly. These two are read. Each verse reading is followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that is followed by the practice of self-enquiry. After these two segments of verse reading, meditation on meaning, and the practice of Atma-vicharam are completed, there will be summing up remarks today by Dilipji, and that shall be followed by the offering of Sri Ramanastotram chanting by Vaibhavji and Prarthnama online. Today our puja team is back, and Manjunath ji will be offering the flowers here. So those who are observing and listening can inquire who is observing, who is listening, so that the sensory act of seeing or listening is together with self-attention. Otherwise, in the simple act of sensory seeing, the mind may go elsewhere. The mind may generate other thoughts. But when you are seeing the flowers offered by paying attention to who is seeing, and when you are hearing by paying attention to who is hearing, the mind and the senses and the observed are all taken back to the one source, the source of the observer or the listener. With Bhagavan's immense grace, we commence the satsang by going to the verse number 590, the first verse selected for us. We find 590 in the segment Meditation on the Truth. This is preceded by investigation into truth and followed by experience of the truth. 590 we find in the subsegment enjoyment of sense objects, which we were referring to. We may consider Bhagavan to be a sense object that can be seen or that can be heard, but one should not stop with that. One should also offer Bhagavan as the very Atma Swarupa by paying attention to the source of the seer, source of the listener. So, enjoyment of sense objects, verse number 590. A person already exists as food. If, without realizing this, a person thinks that he is eating food, then food will consume him and moreover enslave him to the great insatiable hunger of desire. This is taken from the reference, original reference is from Taittiriya Upanishad 3.10.6. This appears to be a commentary on Taittiriya Upanishad, which makes the following declaration: I am food, I am food, I am food. I am the eater of the food, I am the eater of the food, I am the eater of the food. I am the uniter, I am the uniter, I am the uniter of the eater and the food, the self. I am the firstborn of the true prior to the gods and the navel of immortality. He who gives me away, he who gives the limitless away, he alone preserves me. He who eats food, I as food eat him. I as the Supreme Lord overpower the whole world. I am radiant as the sun. Annam Brahmam. What is the reality of food? The reality of anything is Brahman. That is what we should understand. What is real seeing? The source of the seer. What is real hearing? The source of the listener. What is real food? The same. The source of the eater, the source of the one consuming food, that is the real food. And that is not subsequently gained. One is already that. One is already the source of the ego. One is already that. It is nothing to be gained. So one is already present as the limitless Brahman, limitless food. That is the real food, isn't it? If without realizing this, that you are the limitless real food being Brahman, if without realizing this, the person thinks that he is an individual eating various types of delicious food, then food, Brahman or Ishvara or time will consume him. If he assumes himself to be a limited body, enjoying the various fruits of various delicacies, then Kala, one of the ways in which Brahman manifests, that will eat him and he will become food for Brahman. Then food will consume him and moreover enslave him to great insatiable hunger of desire. Since Phalama Shashvatam, since the food in the limited area, the unreal food, is phalam ashashvatam, is transient. Therefore, one gets insatiable hunger. If you take interest in eating better and more quantity of food or better quality food, then you will have to keep increasing it. As we were discussing in another satsang, how if you walk into theaters today compared to walking into a theater in the 1970s, what is the sound we have and what is the sights we have, the brightness and the gory nature of pictures and the extraordinarily bass sound, huge sound, which literally the physical heart starts reverberating. Why? Because on a joint basis also, the senses, they seek higher and higher and more and more and more, insatiable hunger. It wants more and more gratification. How else can the attraction be done by the producers? They see the people have to come, increase the sound, increase the various scenes, the quality of the colors, the goriness of the scenes presented, keep increasing it. That is how we are enslaved to insatiable, unsatisfiable, unquenchable thirst, unsatisfiable hunger is what is the key here. What is the key to be understood? We are already the limitless real annam. The food we eat is not real food, it is dream food. it is present in the dream called creation. Fortunately for us, the dream Simha, the Guru, has given us the Upadesha to wake up from that dream. And who are we in reality? We are not the dreamer eating the dream food. We are in fact the awakened consciousness, the limitless Brahman. We are already present of that as that. Forgetting it, the forgetfulness of Brahman is coming into this mortal zone. That makes us feel that we are going after this food and that food. Then the verse, it cautions us, then Brahman, the limitless, will appear as time and will eat you. Rama, when bemoaning the nature of time in Yoga Vasishtam, he says, time consumes everything. And he bemoans that it consumes even Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara bemoans the time of Rama, the extent to which he has worshipped time, yeah, that is supreme to all names and forms. So that becomes, the time becomes Brahman and consumes all names and forms. If Rama can bemoan that the Rupa of Shiva, Vishnu, and Maheshwara are subject to that, then where is the Jiva's Rupa and Jiva's Nama? Definitely it will be consumed by the Annam, is what is the verse here. We have to just look at the first Annam, that is Ahamannam, 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 where that Ahamannam is the limitless Brahman, is what we have to understand. And when we abide as that, one is awakened from the dream, where the dreamer keeps enjoying various types and delicacies. And Bhagavan, as we would have come across in his Satcharita, Bhagavan, when somebody cooks 40 types of side dishes, like the receptions of today, and brings, that lady brings, and Bhagavan mixes up everything and says that here there is only one taste being this Purana. That is the only reality to be felt. This Purana is the only reality to be felt. All others are unreal. With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit in Atma Ucharam for the next 15 minutes. Could we set the time, please? I think I will set the time. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramana. Namo Ramana. We continue by taking the second verse selected for us. Verse number 731. 731. We are still in the meditation on the truth segment. 731, we find in the subsegment Bhakti and Vichara. Bhakti and Vichara, 731. The inseparable nature of Bhakti and Jnana. The inseparable nature of Bhakti and Jnana. Be aware that the two paths of Jnana and Bhakti are inseparably related. Be aware that the two paths of Jnana and Bhakti are inseparably related. Therefore, without separating one from the other, through the delusion that they are different, practice both simultaneously and harmoniously in your heart. Be aware that the two paths of Jnana and Bhakti are inseparably related. Therefore, without separating one from the other, through the delusion that they are different, practice both simultaneously and harmoniously in your heart. We usually have this feeling that Jnana is superior or Bhakti is superior. In one of the Mugams, we have the Atmavacharam Mugam in Madurai. Every year, sometime in July, July 17th or so, we have the Mugam. About 2-3 years ago, one participant who was listening to what I was saying and who had Vedantic background, he said, you have, because we were discussing self-enquiry, he said, you have lot of attachment to Bhakti. Your speech is filled with Bhakti thoughts, whereas self-enquiry should have been expressed in pure Jnana-based thoughts. That was his feeling. And my response was that we were addressing the Ramana devotees who have been coming to the workshop for the last so many years. And in Bhagavan, the separation between Bhakti and Jnana is not there. That when you do Jnana, you understand the greatness of Bhakti. When you come through Bhakti, you understand Jnana completely. We find Devraj Mudaliar, a great Bhakta who calls Bhagavan as Ammayum Appanum Niye, father and mother are you. That is his bhavana towards Bhagavan. But if you go through day by day with Bhagavan, then some of the rarest gems of Jnana we find in his writings. Similarly, the Paramajnanis like Muruganar, they are the great devotees too. And in Anubhava, what we do is you may come directly, apparently, to self-enquiry, but when you are doing self-enquiry, when the ego does not have energy to go on, you will find the anbu, the blessing, the grace of Bhagavan come in the form of Ramana Nama. In my case, in Tiruvannamalai, in the years 2004, 2005, when I would run out of steam to do Atma Vicharam, somehow, unknowingly, I will chant Bhagavan's Nama just 2-3 times. And the Vichara will start again. The energy required, the pointedness to inquire into subtle thoughts will come automatically. Even in the practice, when we conduct the self-inquiry sessions, what happens is the one who is conducting has to hold the eye. We can actually feel everybody trying, but then energy is required to hold the one eye of all the people participating. The time and place doesn't matter. It may be in a room, it may be across time and place. In that, the energy is spent, and one runs out of energy in holding the eye. From where do we replenish it? Just letting go of that tough holding. If you relax, Bhagavan comes as the anbu, the feeling of inbam. That is also Purna. And the Bhakti Purnate, it replenishes the energy. The Purnate of Bhakti, which is love, Bhagavan is love. When holding the eye, you get tired, just relax a little bit. You can feel Bhagavan coming as the fount of bliss and replenishing. Then once again, the holding of the eye is there because this is Nishtha. In conducting, we are holding the Nishtha of all the participants. Each one will be trying in their own way. That is called as Sishya's Nishtha. The one who is conducting should have the Guru Nishtha. Should take all the eyes together to the source. In that, where do we replenish? Do we come back to this world and then take food and replenish? No. The real food is the Atma Swarupa, the I. The I itself, when you relax a little bit, it becomes anbu, it becomes grace. That's where the energy is replenished once again, automatically, without any will. We are only observing what's going on. Automatically, the Ishvara conducts the self-inquiry. We can see the Ishvara Shakti operating both as the Nishtha as well as the grace and conducting the self-inquiry session. That is how interconnected Bhakti and Jnana are. That they are inseparable. They are the same forms. They are the forms of the same Ishvara. When you hold it with pinpointed attention to unify all the egos, becomes jnana. And when you relax and unify all the egos with love, then it becomes replenishing energy. It becomes Shakti Swarupa. Then what we do? Then unify the egos again with the jnana. Ultimately, the effortless abidance beyond this Purana, beyond even this self-attention, is the self-realization, says Bhagavan. But then we have to first practice as the disciple. We have to practice the disciple's silence in self-inquiry. And when you get tired, you can hold Ramana Nama for 2 times or whatever Bhakti Marga you have come. Without opening your eyes, just relax in that. You will get energy again to do for whom is this thought. Let us practice self-inquiry for the next 15 minutes or so.
Uncle, I'll keep the time, Uncle.
Namo Ramana. May I request Dilip ji to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana, sir. You are in mute.
No, sir, you are not in mute, but you are not audible. No, we can't hear you. Maybe if you log out and log in, we may be able to hear you.
Ji have very beautifully summed up that we are nothing but the food. We, in reality, is the eater. We are the united thing. We are the jnana, we are the yoga, we are the bhakti. But if we fail to understand this truth, and moment we start seeing the differences, that I am the eater and there is the food, and then there is a uniter somewhere, and therefore I have to be united, or I need gnana, or I need bhakti, I need yoga. Moment we start seeing, or in fact, that in even that I am a gnani or I am a bhakta, moment we identify and create a sense of separation, it has been very clearly said, we will get into the continuous whirlpool of differences, of desires. That if I am a bhakta, I will feel that I still don't have the gnana. If I feel I am the gnani, then I may feel I am not a fully bhakta. If I am an eater, I may feel that I have not eaten this or that today, or I missed out eating on this or that. So, this whole division, that is what we need to be watchful of. It has been very beautifully brought out to us by Nandakumar ji in this explaining these two verses, which is essentially saying to say there is one united thing which is both manifested or the unmanifested. In both, it is only one truth shining through and through. But moment we see them as a different from oneself, on oneself being different from what is shining through, moment that creeps in, that division is held on to, then the senses take over, and we are in a continuous state of desiring something because we feel we are in lapse in certain areas. And this has been brought out very beautifully through these two verses. Thank you, Nandakumar ji. Thank you, Bhagavan. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. I request Vaibhavji and Pratnama to chant the Ashtotram. Just give a moment for Manjunath ji to come back. He's just gone to break the coconut. Ready andre avarge helpedi. You can start, sir. Thank you.
नमो रमण भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्विमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्ड संविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शौर्णशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीनाय नमः ॐ महायोगिने नमः ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसम्रम्भाय नमः ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः ॐ च्यूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः ॐ विराजदशलाकृतये नमः ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः ॐ पूर्णाय नमः ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः ॐ गम्भीराय नमः ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः ॐ स्वराजे नमः ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ भगवते नमः ॐ ईड्याय नमः ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः ॐ विमलाय नमः ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः ॐ आप्ताय नमः ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः ॐ समदृशे नमः ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः ॐ सत्याय नमः ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचलहृद्बोधस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपसृष्टे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेवितामृतसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋक्चान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाबन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशा सारात्म्यभावं गतः वृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकरात् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीव हित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगिये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಘಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि। बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय।
ನಮೋ ರಮಣ ಅಕ್ಕ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.
नमो रमना मंजुनाथ जी, नमो रमना नंदकुमार सर, नमो रमना श्रीकांत जी, नमो रमना जय श्री मैडम।